Hello and welcome. Finally made it. I've just been had one mad rush just now, and I'm getting everything sorted. So, well, just glad I'm here. Just imagine the weather's made things a little bit difficult, and it's knocked a few things out that I wasn't aware of. But we're here, and this is the 12th show. We only have one more left in this series, and that's next week, and that's going to be a special show. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later on. But 12 weeks, where's it gone? It just flew by. So don't worry, though. We're back next week with a special show, and we've got special guests today. Well, hopefully we've got a couple of special guests. I know I've definitely got one already. He's waiting in the back. I'm going to meet him in a minute. And I see you can get involved. We're going to be talking while we're talking. You can get involved with the show and be part of it. So, and you can do that by commenting. Hold on 1 minute. If you would like to comment or ask a question, you can by going to the main Cambridge Historian page at the Cambridge Historian on Facebook and commenting underneath this video. If you comment on any other platform that we're being broadcast on, we won't be able to see the message or your question. So please do make sure that you're on the main Cambridge Historian Facebook page, and that's found at the Cambridge Historian on Facebook. Okay, brilliant stuff. And of course, more details of other things will come up later. But I'm going to bring my guest on now. His name's Nigel. He's been on the show before. You may recognise him from past show. Hello, Nigel.
Yeah, hello there, Fonz.
Hi. Yeah, no, hopefully everybody can bear with me. I've got a few technical difficulties in the background, but that makes it fun, don't it, when it's live?
Yeah, of course it does, yeah. It proves it's live as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But no, we'll get down. Actually, it's all settling itself down now. We have hopefully got another guest. I'm not quite sure. We was actually surprised for you because this guy, he's very knowledgeable about 1980s computers. And you know the old computer systems, and I know that you're into that stuff, kind of.
Yeah.
But he's had to go. Somebody's got injured at work, hurt their foot, so he's had to go and stand in today. But he is due back around about any time now, home. Fingers crossed, and he's going to join us if he can. So that might happen, though, might not. But cool if it does.
Okay, yeah, good.
You're going to be chatting about a few things, and what you're chatting about today is Cambridge characters, I do believe.
Yeah,
mainly in particular, mainly one in particular who's a big interest to you.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about him now?
But let's know who. Let the people know who it is. Maybe they want to share their memories of him and comment. Well, he's still around, this guy. Memories.
Yeah. I do believe the character we're going to be talking about is DiscoKenny, as is known.
Yeah, and we're going to look at some of the other characters as well to give people's memories. So, if, like I said earlier, if want to get involved, comment, they can. So you'd love to hear people's memories about DiscoKenny, wouldn't you? And adventures they've had bumping into him.
Yeah, definitely.
No, carry on.
There's the DiscoKenny Appreciation Society on Facebook. I mean, it's got thousands of members, and there's daily pictures of people having selfies taken with him, or if he's out at the pub and they just take a picture of him, and it's on there. People love it. You know, he goes to the pub, he has a half, always a half, never a pint, and he goes on to the next pub and does it all again. Yeah,
and he's famously known for his straw hat, and he's always got like a straw hat on.
Yeah, he's got a straw hat. I mean, I've got a little story about him, actually. I come from Haverhill myself, and obviously DiscoKenny is a Cambridge person. But I was in Haverhill High Street one Saturday morning, and I heard this voice, World's gone mad, mate. World's gone mad. And I looked round, and there it was. He was stood right beside me, and I said to him, "What are you doing in Haverhill, Kenny?" And he said he loves it. He goes in the Bull pub for his half, and he loves it there, and people love it. And I've seen recent pictures of him on the Society's page on Facebook of him in the Dravet and Smock, which is the Weatherspoons. I don't mean to give an advert, but you know that brand of
you got a big one on your T-shirt at the moment. Hopefully they're paying you well.
yeah. Hang on, can't see.
No, you're fine. You can't beat that real thing.
So Yeah, someone took a selfie of him in there recently. I see it on his page. So he certainly gets about, and
Yeah,
I've met him a few times, and he's always a genuine guy. You know, he'll stop and talk to you. He doesn't mind who talks to him. He knows that people love him, but he doesn't let it go to his head or anything. You know, he's
yeah.
just a genuine, normal guy.
I remember him saying to me once about it goes because he does the old world gone mad thing. That's his little thing in him, and he goes, "World's gone mad." Oh yeah, they got a page of all about me on some face thing. He was going at me, all page about me, hundreds of them. He was going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we say what he says, but I mean, he's probably like the most true thing ever when he says his world's gone mad. You know, some of the things that
Doesn't know.
happen is
He doesn't
100%
realise how
right.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know how close to the reality he really is. It has gone mad.
I mean, apparently, so someone's told me another saying that he's got. Well, I've never personally heard him saying is "nice day, snow tomorrow." But whether he really says that, I don't. I've been told.
No, I haven't heard him say that one, but
Yeah, yeah.
maybe he does. Do you think he goes out more to places like Haverhill? Because I know when I've seen him in Cambridge, he does get people. It's a bit overbearing for him.
Yeah, I've actually heard. I mean, like I say, once again, it's all hearsay. That some establishments, they don't even welcome him. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but yeah, I think he likes to go to Haverhill, and some say he goes to Linton as well and other places. So I think he likes to get about a bit, and and why not?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, he's certainly definitely a character and certainly somebody. What is it about him that really you find fascinating?
I think it's just that he's just an ordinary guy, but he's so popular. Everybody loves him. You know, looking at going back to the Facebook page, and long before Facebook. I mean, I remember seeing him in Hunstanton, well over 10 years ago, and he was on the horses. You know, the horses that go round, up and down, and go round
On the beach, you mean?
on the carousel. On the
Oh, the
carousel.
carousel. Oh, the carousel ones. I thought you meant the donkey rides.
No. Well, he was on the carousel, and he was just going round on that and having the time of his life. You know, it's just and like I say, he wears that straw hat, and I think that's mostly in the summer. In other times of the year, he seems to wear other hats. You know, of different kinds. A bit like yourself, really. He always wears a hat.
I think he's very much like me. I'm me, and I know you're you with your different kinds of t-shirts. That's your persona, that's your character, and you've got your different kinds of t-shirts that you wear. But with me, I wear my hat because that's how I feel and feel comfortable with it. And I suppose it's the same with Kenny. Really, his hat is his thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it really is, and like I say, he's very popular and as a character, but he doesn't want to be. You know, it's not like he's wanted to be that way. He's become that way, and all over Cambridge and surrounding areas. If you mention the name, they know him.
Then again, they're the best kind of characters, and that goes on to two other characters, well, three really, that I'm going to mention throughout. It's the same as Snowy Farr. Snowy Farr. Now he was completely. We were looking at him a bit in a little while, but when you look at him, he basically was just a man who wanted to raise money for charity and for blind charities. Never looked for fame or anything, but he came popular. Same with Fred Unwin, a guy who went door to door delivering books about Cambridge memories. He didn't go to a publisher, he self-published them. In fact, talking to his family and knowing his family, he didn't really make any money out of it. That he probably lost more than what he made, but it was his passion. And then there was this homeless guy called Trevor Hughes, and he came a character. And to me, they're the best kind of characters because they're not the ones who've tried to put themselves in the limelight. They've just been them, and people fell in love with their characters and became a part of their community. And I think that's the best way it can happen, really. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Cambridge especially is full of different characters. The ones that you've mentioned, and I'm sure there's many more. You know, sadly,
there's a few others that probably you can remind us with as well. I know there used to be a guy who used to walk around playing loud music all the time as well. I don't know. I remember him, but I can't remember who he is. Maybe somebody who's watching can drop a message down on the page and let us know. And we're thinking also there's a bloke who played, was it guitar and all that, and drums and stuff, and like a one-man band. He came a character as well.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if you know any of
remember.
them.
No, I remember there used to be a lady that used to wear a bucket on her head. Like a household bucket.
What, like basically like what you clean your windows with, kind of
Yeah,
bucket, you know?
basically, yeah, she used to walk around with that on her head. Sadly now I do believe that she's no longer with us, but she was known as one of the characters of Cambridge,
Yeah, yeah. No,
and of
certainly.
course, yeah.
I suppose Cambridge is known for these kind of eccentric characters because I don't know what it is. What is about? What do you think it is? I mean, there must be these characters elsewhere as well. We're just
Oh,
probably
there's
not
got to
aware of
be.
them. We're just
Oh,
probably not
there is.
aware of them because we live in this area.
I mean, I've been to other towns. I mean, obviously, we're not talking about them now, but I've been to other towns, and yeah, there is characters. Like I say, I come from Haverhill. I suppose there's characters there. Maybe not so famous or well known as like your Disco Kennys and that.
Yeah,
But like I say, every town has got them, and Cambridge, because of the size of it, I suppose,
yeah,
it's more noticeable when somebody stands out.
yeah. No, definitely. I've got some photos, and to give people an idea, I'll bring it up here. Can you see that? All right.
I can't see the head of whoever this is.
It's Kenny. It's Disco Kenny.
Right, okay,
He's
I can only see a body and a
all
pair
right.
of legs.
All right. Yeah, well, he's fully there. Don't worry, he's fully there. He's got his straw hat on, and I think I do believe he's walking around Cambridge. So that gives people an idea of what he looks like. Because we'd love to hear people's, well, if they've bumped into Kenny, to message us on the Facebook page and stay with us. And you can do that by going to the Cambridge Historian Facebook page while we're live. That's at the Cambridge Historian, and drop us there. But yeah, no, that was Disco Kenny.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
people to give an idea.
I do believe he's just an ordinary guy with an ordinary job. From what I've heard, he's a painter by trade, and
Yeah.
I mean, I think he
Is
must
that
be.
what he does? I've never been quite aware really.
Yeah, yeah, I
What is,
think from what I've heard, he's a painter at one of the colleges.
yeah,
And he's done it for many years. I mean, he's probably coming up to retirement now. I would have thought he's in his 60s, I do believe.
yeah, cool.
But
So
he's
no,
been as long. I mean, as long as I've known, going back 30 years, maybe even longer, he's always been known in Cambridge as Disco Kenny. And I
do you know
don't
what? Do you
know
know
how he
why?
got the name.
Do you know why he's called Disco Kenny?
Well, I believe I heard from yourself once that he used to go to quite a lot of discos when he was younger,
Yeah,
and they called him Disco Kenny, and the name has just stuck over the years.
yeah. That's one of those stories that you hear, but it's a bit like a reality checkpoint in the story. So many different other stories have come about as well, so it's hard to know. But he's certainly a character, and I think he must be at the present time the most known person in Cambridge. Mustn't he? Really?
Yeah, I would have thought so. I mean, there has been other characters over the years, like you say, certainly the most well-known living one, I would have thought.
Yeah, definitely. I think he can't walk around in Cambridge without being noticed. And I do know that some people do take, especially on this appreciation page. Now, I've got no idea who set that up, but it's become massive, though, hasn't it? His appreciation page. And there's people from everywhere trying to get photos, and some of them are sneaky photos without him knowing as well.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem to be worried about it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not too much for him, and I don't hear of him sort of being horrible to people. He always sort of obliges to the photo.
Yeah.
And
do you think it's a case of that he feels if it makes them happy, it makes him happy, sort of thing? Do you think it's that sort of approach?
Yeah, I'd like to hope that was the case, because he seems a real nice guy. I've not heard anything bad about him, and all the things on that page. He's, I won't say a name, but there's a place where he always goes to get his hair cut at the same place, and pictures are taken there, and various inner street pubs, wherever he goes, people just want a selfie with him or they want to take a picture of him.
Yeah, he's like that. I suppose he's like that iconic. It's good actually, just an ordinary. I tell you, that's actually quite thing. He's an ordinary guy. Instead of like you get loads of people on Facebook with their photos with their celebrities, like a famous person off this program or this sports personality or this person off that movie. But he's just an ordinary guy, and people are, as you know, what I mean, as honoured and proud to put their photo up with him as well. So it shows you how diverse and how this can go, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
more people who back in the day wouldn't have had that happen to him. It is. It's making the platform bigger. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know how he became so popular, though. I mean, you know, that's the thing. We sort of like got an idea how he may have got the name, but how he became sort of like so popular in Cambridge, we don't know. That'd be interesting to find out what caused the rise of his popularity.
Yeah, no, definitely. If anybody's out there watching the show at the moment, please do get in contact and let us know. We'd love to hear your memories of all these characters. We'll move on a little bit now to another one you probably know quite well as well. Fred Unwin. You must have heard of Fred Unwin.
To be honest, I've heard the name, but I wouldn't be able to recall him in any other way other than that.
Okay, well, I'll put a photo up. Here we go. This is him in later life. Of course, he sadly passed away a few years ago. I got to speak to him. This is when I went to speak to him, and with his son Keith, and he basically wrote books about Cambridge. Now, I think I might, if I left it here, I've got one down here, and this was the very first one that I got of his. It's called Cambridge One and All, from Cambridge One and All, and it's about the war in Cambridge, like what happened during the war and about him fighting in the war. And it was my very first Cambridge book that I really picked up, and it's probably this book that inspired me to find out about Cambridge history and be a part of it. So this ordinary guy inspired me to do it. But would you believe? You still there, Nigel?
Yeah, I'm there. It's all right. Yeah, it's all right. I still am here. Yeah, you're all right.
Yeah. I didn't know if you thought I'd put you down. Not as in put you in the back in the lobby. No. And he went around with a shopping trolley, delivering these books door to door. So you can imagine. And he was, I think this comes from 1980, this one, and £1.95 per book. And he would not go home until he had at least sold 30 books a day. So he would stay out until he'd done that. Now, that's an amazing achievement, don't you think?
It is an amazing achievement, you know, to have that dedication to have sold 30 books per day. I mean, the amount of doors that he must have had to knock on to get those sales.
Yeah, but he was quite a clever guy, because he used to work for Betterware, was a milkman, and done all these door-to-door stuff. So he knew how to approach people door to door. And of course, he picked up his regular customers, and a quite crafty marketing tool, which I think is brilliant. He used to write about actual people, real life people, but change their names and stuff and little details, and people would want to buy the book to see if they were in it and what he'd written about them. So he knew he'd always get a sale somewhere.
Yeah, great.
I don't know if you've read any of his books at all.
No, like I say, I've only heard of him through hearing from him from you before, you know.
Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. But one character you probably do know 100% is Snowy Farr.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. We got a photo of Snowy here. Here we go. Of course, another very distinctive guy. Can you see that photo? All right.
Yeah, I can see that. He's in his usual uniform and the usual snowy look.
And he did what he did. He never wanted anything out of anything, did he? And he raised loads and loads of money for blind people, and used to be on the corner of Pettigrew. Now, did you ever get to see Snowy at all?
Yeah, I did actually. As a kid, I used to go to Cambridge. I lived in Saffron Walden at the time, but we used to go to Cambridge every now and again, and he'd be there at Pettigrew, where the statue of him is. He'd be there with his bicycles with the cages or whatever they were on them. And I do believe that when he was younger, he used to cycle those from Oakington, where he used to live at Oakington, and I do believe he used to cycle those there as such. But in later life, they used to be bought on the back of a trailer. But yeah, I used to be fascinated by him, because I used to think, I didn't know that he put them on a trailer when I went. I think, how did he do it? You know, how did that man get those there on by peddling them, and I was just amazed with all the animals that he had as well, and the signs that he raised the money for guide dogs like he did. As a kid, I was fascinated by him when I saw him. You know, just the whole uniform, the whole everything about the guy. It was just amazing.
Yeah, no, definitely. And he's certainly one to, well, you know, what I mean, should be inspired by, because Snowy was wonderful, wonderful character and a wonderful kind man. He never wanted anything back. He didn't want anything from anybody. He loved his animals. He loved coming down there, meeting children, meeting families, sharing this with people and raising money. Now, of course, moving on, they made it, like you were saying, his sculpture. Now, they made a sculpture, and we'll stick that up. This is the current sculpture. I'd love to know what people think of it. So if you're watching the show and you're on the Cambridge Historian Facebook page, let us know what you think. But this is the sculpture. Now, what would you say about this sculpture, Nigel?
Well, I'd say it is expressing what he was like, but me personally, I don't think it's as good as it could have been. It was a missed opportunity there. It could have been made a whole lot better than what's been presented. Yeah,
of course, it's, to me, what I can see of it, and probably the best way a lot of people would describe it, it's a top hat with mice running around it and a white cat, which basically is Snowy. If we put the picture back up of Snowy, basically that is the Snowy part, really. If you look at it, that's his hat there, and that's his cat, and he's got the mice. So that bit's spot on. Then it comes down, and it's sort of like got marble jelly beans and all that, hasn't it? Really, and it sort of loses that kind of Snowy appeal, really, to it, doesn't it? After that,
yeah. I mean, I don't think if you didn't know Snowy, you probably wouldn't be able to work it out what it was 100%.
Well, I don't know if you remember. I always said, because that sculpture cost more to make than what he actually raised for charity, and I think he would have rather had the money go to the charity. I think if he was alive and he knew that was there, you know what I mean, I don't think it was something that he would have wanted, because he was this proud man who just wanted to raise money for charity, and I think he would have rather the money gone there. But it cost more.
It might have been better just to have had a plaque or something with his name and representing what he'd done in the years, you know, like that might have been more fitting.
Well, I always said that the base should have had some kind of collection box in it, where you put the money in it, and the collection box was deep inside of it. Outside was complete solid, the black bit was complete solid structure, and underneath it was a space to have a collection box. And of course, this made the press a few years ago with my suggestion about that. And I have noticed, I don't know if it's to do with my press coverage or whatever, or it's just a complete coincidence, that when I went down to see the Snowy sculpture, they're actually, because one of the comments I said, a lot of people, especially visitors to Cambridge, I've stood near it and they go, what's that? What's that? And mum, like young children, what's that for? Why is that there? And I've seen at the front of it, they've now put, like, you know, those barcode things you get.
Right.
That you scan, don't you? Scan codes, I forget what they're called. Yeah. They put one of them and you can scan it and it tells you about Snowy. So,
all right, that's good. That's a good idea.
If you've got a small, which that is a good idea, because then people can find out about Snowy. But that's the only thing that's been added to it. But I think it would be good if they had some kind of collection or something built into it, because then it's carrying on. Don't you feel it's carrying on what he was doing and it's serving a purpose? Yeah, it's carrying on his work, really.
Yeah, carrying on from there.
I know that a lot of people did have comments to me saying that they were worried that somebody might rob it or vandalise it, and that I completely understand. But I recently understand it has been vandalised. Somebody spray painted it and written all over it just recently, which is terrible and to me very disrespectful.
But maybe they could, if there can't be a collection box there, give a link within the information from that barcode to like a
there you go,
a Just Giving page or something similar that went to what he used to do. You know, in this day and age, that could easily be added, couldn't it?
No, you're spot on. So there's an idea. So if anybody, the powers that be, are listening in, that's a good idea. That maybe put the link into it and people can donate. Say, this is a Snowy sculpture. This is what he did. You're totally right. This is what he did. This is how he did it. I'd like to carry on his legacy. Whack a couple of quid into this account to carry on.
Yeah. And there's another thing. If anyone's listening or watching that wants to find out more, I'm not going to I'm not going to advertise it or anything. But if you look on YouTube, there is actually a video of when he met Dave Allen in the
Yeah,
'70s,
yeah.
and there is a short video there which is quite interesting of him on that. It's definitely worth watching that program.
Yeah, and of course, I think he did a little series as well for Anglia TV, as well at one point, didn't he?
All right,
Like
I'd like to
yeah,
find out. I don't know if that's
I
on
know some of
YouTube
them. I
or...
know some of them were on YouTube at one point. I don't know because of copyright. Sometimes things get taken up and
Yeah,
down,
cool. Yeah,
so I don't know if they're still on there. But I have seen them, and of course,
but
as well,
but we can. Yeah,
I've got to
that
give credit. Oh, sorry, carry on.
sorry, that thing that I was saying about, there is actually a just a clip of Snowy Far, but I don't know if you've ever seen the whole program. I've downloaded it myself and watched it. It does last for about an hour, but that
Yeah.
Dave Allen meets Britain's eccentrics,
Yeah.
which was made in the '70s, and it's all about characters. Which Snowy Far is on that, but there's other characters from other parts of the
All right.
country,
So
and
we get to see. So we get to see. So if we watch the whole thing, we get to see the other characters from around different areas as well.
yeah, and one character was Bruce Lacey. Now he's only just recently died. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No, I haven't. No.
He made like flight simulators, and he made a robot. This is going back in the '50s that he made it. He made this
Yeah.
robot called Rosa Bosom, and it could yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
it could
Brilliant.
push you, and it was amazing, considering that he made it in the '50s, and I think it still exists in some museum somewhere.
I'm going
But
to.
he only died. He only died sort of like a year or so ago, and he's on that program. And there's another guy who, him and his wife, although they live in England, they dress up as Red Indians every single day.
Yeah.
And there was another one where there was a couple as well. Once again, I assume husband and wife. They had a fully working model train station in their house,
Wow.
and they kept all the trains to the timetables of when they would,
Wow.
what I mean, every single
Yeah.
day. They was totally dedicated to it.
I'll tell you a couple of things that I've seen. Talking of where I used to live when I grew up, there used to be a guy in my street who had those little miniature trains. He'd have it come up his driveway and all around his house, and he used to like exactly the same thing. He had this clockwork thing of when he used to go around with his train and all that. It was
Yeah,
This was the early 1980s.
but
Yeah, and and then another thing is, don't know how you would feel about it. Have you seen these programs where people have to spend a week back in time?
I've never seen that. No.
Well, they've done the Victorian times, they've done the 1950s, 1940s, I think the 1980s. Do you know what I mean? I think that I've watched these shows and I thought, wow, I'd love to be able to do that. Spend like a week in 1960. I think to me, if I had to pick a decade, it'd be the 1960s. I'd love to spend a week in the 1960s. Now, if your approach to that, what kind of decade would you pick, and what would you like to be able to do in that week?
I think, to be honest, I'd probably choose the '70s.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of like great artists and a lot of music, and also there was quite a lot of TV shows from that time. A lot of things that I'd like to have been able to have seen, and that I'd certainly have liked to have been able to go see Mark Bolan live or something like that back in the '70s. When he was still alive, obviously, or David Bowie at that time. I'd certainly have liked to have been involved in something to do with that, because it looked like it was great times for music and also for life in general.
Yeah, you can imagine a lifestyle when you look back at old things, that how slower pace things were. Things are so fast now, aren't they? Before you brought one phone, the new phone's out, isn't it? Really?
Oh yeah, crazy. I mean, like you say, technology is moving so fast. It does make you wonder what's going to happen next. There's been quite a few things in Back to the Future, for example, that are actually reality now. And it makes you think, well, what is going to be next?
Yeah, it's like lots of old TV shows like Star Trek. I'm trying to think. Thunderbirds are, well, no, on the TV. Basically, when they're talking to each other, it's basically that's Skype, really, isn't it? That's basically what we're doing now, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You know, like you're saying, they haven't actually managed to beam anyone up yet, but you know,
I think,
who
I
knows?
think, I think that's one thing that I would not want to do. If they said to me, "You could get the Spain in 4 seconds," I say, "No, I'm fine," because basically what it means is completely taking your whole body part by bit by little tiny bit, and then it being all scattered everywhere, sent halfway across the world and put back together. My concern would be was if they put it back together the wrong way around.
Well, I mean, it's a bit like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it actually happened to the boy where they transported him, and it went wrong. So yeah, you'd be worried about that, you know, about being beamed up somewhere. I doubt that will become a reality, but you know, you just never know.
you can never tell, but it's probably something. It's like lasers. Like you see all these space shows with laser guns. Lasers actually do exist,
Oh
but they're
yeah,
just
definitely. They're deadly, you know. You can actually get like it would be possible to make a lightsaber such as in Star Wars. Just but you know, you wouldn't want to be around it because it's obviously a deadly thing to have.
yeah. My only you were saying about Back to the Future. My only disappointment about Back to the Future and my big letdown when I was a kid and I watched Back to the Future 2. I was looking forward to watching Jaws 19, and I wanted a hoverboard. I thought I can't wait till 2015 because I can have a hoverboard. Where's
Yeah.
my hoverboard? Where's my
Well,
hoverboard?
so I've heard they have invented true hoverboards, but I don't think they're legal to sell. But you get these so-called ones now, don't you? Which is basically like a skateboard with a
Yeah,
motor that you can actually buy. Although they don't leave the ground, they call them
yeah,
a hoverboard. But I've heard that the true hoverboards have been invented, but obviously they're too dangerous to market. I would have thought.
yeah. What about flying cars? Would you
Well,
have would you have a flying car?
well, who knows? You know, one day it could become the norm. You just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't think it will happen in my lifetime, but it
Yeah,
could become the norm one day in years to come.
definitely. But let's get back to what we were saying. We're
Yeah, so
getting
we've
carried
got a
away,
bit
but
off track here.
no, it's great chatting about it all. That's what makes it fun. Hoping some people comment this. I don't know what's up with people today. I think they're enjoying sitting in the rain because it's
Mm.
been so hot, isn't it,
Yeah,
recently?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's good. I think they're enjoying the rain, and I don't blame them. It's nice to be cooled down. But of course, if anybody wants to comment, please do comment. But you need to go to the main Cambridge Historian Facebook page while we're live, and that's at Cambridge Historian. The Cambridge. I keep saying Cambridge Historian. It's the Cambridge Historian on Facebook. But we're going to move on to one of our other characters because we've been talking about DiscoKenny, and we've mentioned Fred Unwin. We've mentioned Snowy Far. But this guy here, can you see him all right?
Not of them. I can't see anybody.
No, well, he's up on the stream. It's Trevor Hughes. Now, I know somebody who probably is watching. Mick Brown could probably tell you about Trevor. And he used to hang around the market square, and he was a homeless guy. And he became a character. People would try and give him money to sort himself out and things, but it always turned back to the old sherry. And of course, was alcoholic, and sadly, that's what basically killed him. But he became a Cambridge character. And actually, Fred Unwin, that we mentioned earlier, I'm just putting it up, wrote a book called Gentle Tales of Old Cambridge. And actually, on the front cover is a drawing of Trevor. And actually, chapter 1 is all about Trevor in the book. So I'd love to hear people that they ever saw Trevor. But he actually was given a proper funeral by the colleges. This homeless guy.
Ah,
Amazing, isn't it? I know
yeah,
he used to wind up all the old students from around Cambridge as
yeah.
well.
It's a
Okay.
real shame that you know that he died. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that is it's a serious illness that he had with the alcohol. Obviously, the alcohol addiction that he would have had there, and I don't know if it was a case of he didn't get help or he was offered help and he didn't take it.
Yeah.
But
It's just
you
case if
know,
he didn't want it. But he had a quite, what I mean, a knowledgeable background. But I've just noticed that Mark's popped up in the background. He's back from work. He's waving at me. So I'll bring him up. And we can all chat. He's waving. He's going waving like
I
crazy.
can't see him. But if you can bring him on,
Yeah, no, but you should be able to see him now. Can you see him now?
no, I can't see him.
Hello. Hello,
Hello.
Mark. Hello.
Hello.
Can you see Nigel?
I can see DJ Nigel, indeed.
Yeah, he can't see you. Can you hear him though, Nigel?
No, I can't hear him either.
Oh dear. Oh, I'll take you down, Nigel, and I'll bring you back up, and you might be able to work. So hang in there.
It might be because I'm a vampire.
Right, here we go. He's coming back up. Can you see him now?
No, I can see me and I can see you, but I can't see him.
I can see Nigel. Well, I can see Nigel's ceiling.
He can see your ceiling.
I can see your ceiling.
You can see me.
Superimposed over the top of Nigel's. I'm stealing his soul as we speak.
He can't hear you. All right, what I do, Nigel, I'll take you down for a minute, and I'll bring you back up, and hopefully you might sort yourself out. So I'll chat to Mark for a bit, and I'll bring you back up.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I'll bring you back up in a moment. Hello, Mark. So thanks for joining us. I know that you've been busy at work or something. One of your work colleagues had an accident.
Broke their foot.
Yeah.
Been covering. Today's my day off, but unfortunately I had to go in and hold the fort.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, holding the fort. You know, it sounds very much like hugging some huge monumental Masonic structure.
Probably the owners, that's how they see it.
That Ophelia, whatever it is. But yes, so I've just got in much later than anticipated.
No, that's fine.
So here I am. I can only apologise for the mess. I'd like to say this is something that is completely unusual. I'd like to say that, but it would be a lie.
It's best to, sometimes, most of the time, look at my wall. I've got loads of newspaper stuck to it. I couldn't be bothered to go and get wallpaper.
Serial killer.
Oh dear, brilliant. But you're interested in computers, though, aren't you? Like that's what we're going to chat about.
I am, most pertinently retro computers.
Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping that Nigel could hear you and chat to you because he's very enthusiastic about it as well. So hopefully, if he can hear us and he can hear you, he's still in the lobby. If he can hear you, put his thumb up. So I know that he can hear you, and I can bring him back up. It might be worth Nigel logging out and logging back in, and that might sort it as well. Give that a try.
Logged out and logged back in.
Yeah, that might.
One letter to the IT department. Nether regions.
Yeah, definitely. So, what is it you like about retro computers?
Well, yeah. I run a channel called Mark Fixes Stuff, and what you'll find is older computers are often easier to fix than newer computers because they're less complex machines.
Yeah.
One of the things I do like about things, for example, your Sinclair Spectrum, is there are certain faults that can be rectified fairly easily by following some simple guidelines. For I am a simple man indeed. So, I like victories. I like trying to fix things and actually successfully fixing them. So, for that, I really need to sort of delve back to when times were less complex. So, and also, it's part of my history, and it's probably something that we share, being gentlemen of a certain age, this shared enthusiasm for when things were...
What I remember about... Can you hear us now all right, Nigel?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I can hear you all now.
Brilliant. Can you see us as well?
Hi. Yeah, I can see you, Mark. I can hear you.
Oh, excellent. I only apologise. I've not done my lipstick today, but I am wearing special Ann Summers stuff that was sent prior to the interview.
That's fine.
We haven't got smell-o-vision yet. But no, something that always used to excite me about Sinclair Spectrum is you put the tape in it and that noise it would take for 5 and all the patterns on the screen. That's like exciting. The kids these days don't get that, do they?
No, all they get is there's an update available. It's 92 terabytes. Please wait for 9.5 hours. At which point,
no music, nothing.
No music, nothing. No multi-loaders.
No.
Nothing.
Did you enjoy that, Nigel, back in the day?
It was frustrating. I mean, Hungry Horace and Horace Goes Skin and all them, Jet Set Willie.
Jet Set Willie.
Well, that was the name of the game, wasn't it? The only frustrating thing was you'd spend 10 minutes trying to load it. The game would come on and then it would crash and you'd have to do it all over again, all the lines all over the screen and the noise.
Yeah,
I wonder if it was like anybody got hypnotised by keep staring at it.
Probably.
These days, when you go to the cinema, you have a warning in front of anything that might have flashing lights. But it occurs to me that I grew up in the 1980s, and all I did was stare at flashing lights. So I wonder how many people actually had epilepsy and
Without realising.
like dead in the shed, and nobody really knew why. The curse of video games.
Yeah.
50 children dead. We don't know why. Just a pool of saliva and a twitching corpse.
Yeah, no.
Dark really quickly.
What was I going to say? Can we aim that I remember is Paperboy. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Arcade machine, an Atari machine, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Was that on
machine
Sinclair?
originally.
Was that on the Sinclair game?
They did do a version of it. Yeah, there was a version.
Because if my memories are right, that's why I ask you. Because if my memories are right, I had it on Sinclair, and it had in the Sinclair version a little Sinclair C5. Somebody going down the road on a Sinclair C5.
Popping out on a Sinclair C5.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, I also had a Sinclair C5 myself. Yeah, and this thing, everybody that I knew used to find it. The old kids my age used to laugh about it. This ugly thing that he's got. But the funny thing was, I used to have the last laugh at them all at the end of the day, because when school was over and stuff, and they weren't around their other friends, they come knocking around. Can I have a go on your C5? Can I have a go on your C5? And they were all doing it to each other at different times. It was hilarious.
They were, of course, they were, and that's the thing. The Sinclair C5, you know. I mean, back in the day, it was lauded as the most idiotic idea. But today, the idea of smaller, personal, electrically powered transport is something that everybody's trying to put together. You know, so I think that Sinclair was ahead of his time in many respects.
Yeah.
For some people, Sir Clive Sinclair is almost like idolized figure. Not so much for myself, because obviously
he had the right idea, but not the right idea of marketing it, I don't think, and getting it out there.
Yeah, he was an ideas man, but perhaps not the most. What's the word I'm looking for?
Have either you guys been on a C5?
No, unfortunately not.
No, I tell you, it was hilarious. I wish I still had mine, because it would just be fun to ride around Cambridge in it with my top hat going, who wants to know about Cambridge history? Stop. Do you know about Cambridge history? Right on.
The Baron of Beef with a rolled up newspaper looking for victims.
And probably get sectioned at the same time while I'm doing it. But
you're not doing it right. That's my motto.
Yeah, no, definitely. The thing is, though, sadly, I did a motor packed up on it, so it only came pedal power.
Parts apparently.
Yeah, when I was young and naive, and end up with one of my mates.
And now you're old.
And who claimed that he wasn't there because he didn't like it, but we were young and we were having a few drinks, and we ended up having a laugh, see who could smash it into the wall the hardest, and I ended up actually fracturing my shoulder, like doing my shoulder right in and busting it.
Deserved, to be honest.
And I completely wrecked it.
History.
Yeah, and I completely destroyed it. Now, if I could go back in time, that's one thing that I'd love to go back in time and tell myself, you idiot, what are you doing?
Well, if it makes you feel any better, my first computer was an Acorn Electron, and I wondered what would happen if I took a metal screwdriver and run it along the back edge connector while it was plugged in.
Ooh.
So, that killed that. So after I killed it, and not wanting to tell my parents, I decided that I was going to take it to pieces and then smash up the keyboard with a hammer. So, I think we've all been there.
Yeah. Have you ever done anything like that? Something you probably think would be worth a packet, Nigel? Now.
Yeah. I can't name anything, but definitely been times when that's happened. You know.
Yeah.
It's a self-destructive instinct, isn't it? That I think we all have.
I think it's just I think, to be honest, and I'm being honest, it was curiosity to see how many times it would take to smash the thing to bits.
Yeah. Well, curiosity.
And how many times did it take? Do you know?
I know, actually, I forgot. That's the sad thing about it. I just remember going to hospital afterwards with my shoulder because I come flying out of it.
Mm.
I bet that went down really well with your family as well. Why are you laying here in the fractured remnant?
Well, I remember my dad. He was quite, but Nigel knows what my dad's like. He was like, well, don't come crying to me. Because they got it and all that for me. But basically, you'll learn your lesson. And when I did go, I wish I never did that. Told you. You wouldn't like get upset with me. It make me. And I think, God, he's always right. He's always right. God.
Everybody.
But then that's how I learned as well. It actually made me a clever way of learning, hard way. Because I certainly wouldn't do that now.
No, not with that shoulder.
Use the other one.
Oh yeah. Your computer. Talking about computers. That's what we should be talking about. Nigel, what was do you remember what your first computer was?
Yeah, my first ever computer was the old ZX81. Now, I got it for Christmas one year, and I think it was something stupid like about my mum and dad bought it. It was something like £45 at the time.
Wow.
Which doesn't sound a lot now, but back then it was a lot more. It had the 16K RAM pack with it, the one I had, because it was only 1K of RAM or whatever when you got it originally. But the trouble is the RAM pack used to make it crash a lot because the connection was fairly loose. But yeah, I had it for just under a year. Then it decided it wouldn't work anymore, and it was under warranty. But the trouble was, by the time it got took back, they'd stopped making them again. So we just got the money back for it, and I never ended up getting another computer because by then the Spectrum was out, but that was something like £129.99, and my £45 wasn't enough to buy it.
No. I'll tell you what, I've just popped up a wonderful message here from Johnny Webster. It's covering us all up because it's quite long, but it's brilliant. I was friends with Ian Sinclair back in the 60s and 70s. We met up with Sir Clive Sinclair to see Little Walter playing. Sir Clive had a hand-painted, multicoloured Rolls Royce back in then. He was a great character, as was he in many a drink session in Turk's Head Cellar Bar. Wow.
Very nice.
I wonder if Johnny did he give you a free C5?
Is that a euphemism for something?
Yeah.
Well, what do we know about Sir Clive Sinclair? Now we know that he had a hand-painted Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
He's got a Rolls.
I think John Lennon did as well, though, didn't he?
Paint it, and that he liked to hang out in strip clubs. We know that. And now we know he liked to have many a boozy night in the Turk's Cellar Bar. So he's going up in my estimation considerably already.
I don't know, some of these people, though, they got wonderful surprises. Some of the quietest people are the most surprising. I can guarantee you that one from my own experience.
Yeah, and I think we need to know as well that a lot of the people we're talking about nowadays, when we're surprised of the revelations about them, were actually of a period of time before we had the internet. We didn't have things like Twitter and Instagram, immediate access to our stars. So, there is quite a lot of meat on the bones, which is why, say the biography of David Bowie is much more interesting than the biography of some idiot who just won the X Factor 2 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. That's the problem, unfortunately. With modern technology, things are just happening too fast and people are pushed into the frame sometimes too quickly or for the wrong reasons. Not everybody, I'm not saying there's some brilliant talent out there, but that's what can happen because of the technology.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to push into the frame, to be honest. I've been stood next to this frame for 15 years. No, but not even a nudge. Not even a slight pat on the derriere. Nothing.
Don't know. You have to start walking. Yeah, you have to start walking around town in the top out with 50% off it. You soon get people stopping you, asking you to take photos. I went to the big. It's a bit like we were talking about DiscoKenny. I'm starting to get the same treatment now, and it's not because of anything. I went to the big weekend, and I ended up having 6 photos taken by people I don't know, but they knew me, and 2 autographs. Like, can you please sign this? Like, I'm just a guy who does local history, so it's crazy.
Wow, maybe just don't go out anymore. Just rent the house and see if people.
I know what to do. I want to get Nigel. Nigel's going to be my body double, right? I'm hiring you from today. I'm in Cambridge, and I'm going to send you down in my hat. Then you can do my bit, and then I can sneak in around the back way while you're doing my bit, run the bits I'm saying I'm at.
Yeah, I was just thinking, could you become the new DiscoKenny? You know, he's getting older now. You're younger. Could you be the new DiscoKenny with that hat?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just me.
That's
I'm
changing the treatment, and I can only assume that that's available on the National Health. So you could be the next DiscoKenny.
what's that? What about the National Health?
Yeah, I said you're getting the same treatment. I can only assume it's available on the National Health.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
DiscoKenny.
Yeah, no, I get you now. Sorry.
But yeah, how long?
I was trying to think what I was going to say about computers, because that's what we meant to be talking about.
I do digress. It's one of the benefits of Asperger's. I'll start talking about buses, and before long, we'll be talking about Diane Abbott and how she found a bus on the moon. So,
right.
yes, it will. I do digress somewhat.
No, it's fun. This show's live, and we sometimes go away from the subject, and
never return.
We never would have got Johnny to comment about his memories. So that's what it's all about. That's why I like it. It's live and it's fun, and it can go anywhere. But I'm still trying to remember. I'm chatting away here at the same time. My brain's turning over, trying to remember what I was going to say. Oh, that's right. Yeah, at school, the old BBC computers.
Yeah, BBC computers, BBC Micro, made by Acorn. Chris Curry, contemporary of Sir Clive Sinclair at the time, and actually worked with Sinclair and then left to develop the Acorn machines as a direct rival. And just in the nick of time, especially if you read the history, got the contract for the schools, the actual BBC program stuff, which Sinclair were also touting for.
How come they were named BBC? Because obviously BBC they weren't producing themselves. Was it to do with the educational side, like to the connection? So basically, to watch the educational programs and then use the computer, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, basically what happened was, I think the government, someone will correct me in the comments if I'm not, but there was a huge cash incentive from somewhere for a computer program to be shown, which talked about programming computers. It was about that time it was due to happen. And the BBC were doing a computer program, and they wanted a branded computer that would be in the program, and that's exactly why it was the one that was selected for the program. All the basic was fairly similar across the machine. I think the other ones were the Grundy New Brain was in the running. The Sinclair offering was there as well, but as typical with Sinclair, everything was a day late and $1 short. So yeah, and that's how history was written. Those big old lumps, and it actually allowed them to sell the BBC models A and B at a premium price, because people will always spend money on their children. So if they see it on the TV, they're going to buy that one. And the cut down version of that,
clever marketing,
was what I had. Although they came too late to the market to hit Christmas, so there was a glut of them, an entire warehouse. So they got massively discounted by Dixon's, which is the reason I had one, not coming from a rich family. In fact, if you had a BBC whilst you were at school, you were considered one of the rich kids. The rest of us all had sort of Sinclair Spectrum, the Commodore 64 was a few quid.
Yeah, remember 64. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly later to the game was the Amstrad CPC 464 from.
Well, the two things that I remember, I don't know if both of you can remember. The two things that I remember about the BBC were three things: the red buttons at the top, and the big floppy disks. Do you remember the big floppy? I remember at school, as well, going back to school, kids used to have our own floppy disk with our work, and I remember other kids. I wouldn't do nothing like that because that's not nice, But there's no evidence to say I didn't do it. No, I did do it either. Yeah, that's the ones. And what they used to do is get the bit and rub across it and completely destroy all the stuff on top of it. So I remember once this poor little boy, him crying that his whole year's work had been destroyed by somebody else.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's not the most robust format. I mean, it's basically a very thin sliver of clear plastic. On top of that, what you have is a very light coating of a magnetic substrate. And depending on whether it's an HD or a DD diskette, it's either thicker or thinner. And then the magnetic head just goes over that and writes a sequence of pulses. So it's on, off, in an encoding system called MFM, which is magnetic frequency modulation. And that actually writes the data. So it's very, very easy to disrupt that. Very easy indeed.
Yeah.
So yeah, not really the most robust system for storing data, but we didn't have USB flash drives. We didn't have sending documents.
Did either of you have any information on it and it completely you lost it?
Not from that era because.
Did you, Nigel?
No, I never actually used one of those from that era myself. So no.
Yeah, no. That was the old. I don't know if anybody else at school in the 80s, then early 90s, at the old BBC, and went around destroying each other's work by wiping the disc. Things kids do, eh?
I mean, you've got to remember that this is the Commodore equivalent. And if I hold my, I don't know what I can hold up to scale with it.
Hold on, I'll put you on full screen. So hang on, so people can see that. There you go.
If I hold up a £5 note, you can start to see how thin this is. I mean, it's a monolithic piece of equipment for a Commodore 64, for example. But this would often cost as much as the machine itself. And then you've got to feed it discs. So, yeah, this is the Commodore 1541.
Wow.
There's the equivalent
bit of retro then.
It's the same as the actual computer it connects to. So, yeah, discs for the rich person's domain.
But the other thing is as well. Do you either of you remember those little turtle things they had connected and you give it programs to do? I remember at school you used to have a pen and it'd go around. I think it was brilliant. How rubbish is that nowadays?
Logo, though.
That is so rubbish. Did you ever see one of them, Nigel?
What was it? What happened?
It's a turtle thing. It could work with a BBC computer and you'd give it commands over the computer, and say you wanted it to write something or draw a picture on the floor, it would move along and do what you ask it to.
No, I've never seen that, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember it at school thinking, this is brilliant. Wow, this thing's doing what I'm asking it to do. And I think of it now, God, things were so much simpler then.
But I can remember you used to be able to write your own little programs for like
your own little games, yeah.
You used to be able to do things like make your name scroll across the screen, and you thought it was fantastic back then. Or you could make a game. I used to get like a magazine. I can't remember the name of it, but it used to have the programs in it, and you'd type them in, and you used to be able to play a little game. And you thought that was fantastic. I mean, now nobody does unless you're a computer programmer. Hardly anybody does their own programs or writes anything for computers nowadays.
I think saying that though, I've been looking online. I've come interested. I've always wanted to be the love in interaction with things, and I was looking up this bus simulator game. Have either of you guys seen that?
No.
Where you can drive around and you're actually a bus driver, and you actually give tickets to people, and they get on and off, they complain and everything. And this guy was reviewing it on Facebook, not Facebook, on YouTube, and he said how it was built, and it was using this software. So I googled it, and actually it's a free software online that anybody can use, and you can build your own computer games just as good as high quality. But then, of course, if you want to make something of it, you have to start paying for it.
Yeah, you basically program within their framework, and then
but it's amazing.
It's
amazing what you can do. And this bus simulator was just created by a couple of friends on this software.
Would it not be easy just to go and steal a bus?
Well, no, because I could probably get 10 years for that and probably not know how to drive.
Yeah, but think of all the time you'd have to learn programming. You probably get to learn programming for free inside.
Hey guys, look, you look fit tonight, Fons. Kiss, kiss, kiss from Crystal.
I'm feeling unfit at the moment, if I'm honest. Yeah.
What's that?
I'm feeling particularly unfit myself at the moment.
Well, you've had to go to work today, haven't you, for somebody else?
I'm sweating like an overexcited poodle.
Yeah. Did they give you extra money for that?
No, I own the business. Just.
Oh right. But I will have to just realise that we're running out of time. But it's great. I'll have to have you back on, Mark, sometime.
Yeah, I'll get on time next time. This was
but next week is the last in the series until later in the year. So I'll get you down later in the series. We'll also get Scott on with you because he's gone to something to do with his kids, hasn't he? something gone away, university.
Or somewhere like that. So
yeah, but it's also good having you, Nigel. Hopefully, you've enjoyed hearing about the computers.
Yeah, it's been good today. You know, all the memories and stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to get about what is this place that you know about, Nigel? Where they've got their museum of computers.
Oh yeah, the Cambridge Computer Museum. It'd be good if you could get the guy from there on. It'd be good if you could get him on one time.
Yeah, maybe. I think you know him, don't you? You've spoken to him.
I do know him loosely. He come from Haverhill. I haven't seen his name's Patrick. I haven't seen him lately, but yeah, I loosely know him. Yeah.
Yeah, if you loosely bump into him, get him on.
Yeah, I'll certainly will have a word with him if I see him.
Because we'll have a special, all of us, talking about computers.
Yeah, definitely.
Computer lovers love that. But anyway, I've got to say bye to both of you.
Okay.
Bye.
No, thanks for both you coming on, and we're sort of having you both back soon, very soon. Yeah. So thank you.
Bye.
Right. No, thanks to Nigel and Mark. Brilliant having them on the show, and it's been great. But if you want to find us on Facebook, I've got Mark dancing in the background. He's distracting me. You can find us on Facebook at keep dancing. Do another dance. Yeah, keep going. There you go. Look, that's what he's doing, and I can see him in the background. So if I'm distracted a little bit, that's why. But that's us on Facebook, and you can follow me on Twitter at RealFons, and you can follow us on Instagram at Cambridge Historian, and you can check out the website here, but you can't at the moment if you're watching live because I'm editing it a little bit, adding some new bits into it. So I've actually took the website down over the weekend. So if you're looking at it and you're watching it live, as it's happening on the 29th of July, you won't be able to fully get into the website. So if you have any problems, that's the reason why. But do look back at it from next week. That's cambridgehistorian.co.uk, and it's going to have lots of new features because I'm building some bits up for the next second series of this. And of course, next week is I've got Nigel now headbutting the screen. These two guys are really distracting me. This is so unfair. But you guys can't see this. But anyway, next week's going to be a special show because the last show of the series. And do tune in and do be a part of it. I better go. Take care, peeps.